Shana Tova, everyone. I'm Mel. I'm a grateful member of this community. Sorry, it's really nice to have Rabbi Joseph here. As I stand here today, I'm thinking a lot about the promises we make to ourselves and the promises that we ask God when we ask this idea of surrendering and to have enough trust, really, to surrender. Especially when we're met with so much pain and confusion. We want to ask ourselves to surrender, and we want to ask ourselves this sovereign King to grant us mercy and also look at us while judging us. I know a lot of us here feel, and I know I feel like I've met a lot of personal injustice. I know we as a people feel like there are times when we're met with a lot of struggle and what feels very unjust. And this is when I struggle the most, but when I find the most beauty, when I'm encountering this kind of that pain. And when I'm really looking at these moments and really struggling and finding the surrender, I feel that little bit of God's mercy. Because God doesn't ask us to kind of passively accept pain, but rather it's about trusting what's beyond what we see and to try to understand that there's a purpose in all of this and that's where that mercy is when we can't always see it so clearly. And what I'd like to say is that I don't believe we're all here by an accident. I don't believe this moment is a random chance, but it's through all these experiences that we've shared individually and together that have shaped us. The joys that have lifted us and the struggles. But we're still here today, and we're here in this moment. When I was in treatment with Rabbi Joseph, we read this book called Everyday Holiness, and we focused a lot on this idea of that we're made imperfect, so that through that process we can perfect ourselves in this world. And I've looked to that book a lot during these hard times, and kind of looking at that challenge as a refinement and as a gift. Another thing, Rabbi Joseph, going off script because you're here and I'm thinking about what you taught me about surrender, is that we're called to surrender as the ultimate act of faith, and that it's in that act of faith that we ultimately find our greatest freedom. Rabbi Joseph talked a lot about everything God does in this world is for the good. He brought up Rabbi Akiva a lot with me when I was in my deepest struggles, is that it's all for the good. And what I'll say is that I do believe that there is something bigger here for me and for all of us in this room, and that in the moment it's hard to see the big picture, but when we're faced with such beauty in a room, and we're asked to have these moments of pause, and we're asked to experience a little bit of holiness, I can see that it's all for the good. Yeah, thanks.